Greetings to everyone that would catch this as a live or as a recording. I am Shekinah Keys, your number one elevated consciousness coach. I am interviewing my mentor, Dr. Karim R Ellis. He is also an author, a world-renowned author, as well as a motivational speaker. He is your teacher and mentor for assisting you in real estate, motivational speaking, and helping you take your navigation to the next level, your dream, your purpose to the next level. For all those who do not know Dr. Karim R Ellis 2.0, your number one motivational speaker globally, he is also the author of the book GPS My Success. Today we're going to join this live. He will be joining this live to assist me in promoting the book that he too is a co-author, From Powerless to Powerful. Today we will discuss in depth and give you a prelude of why you should purchase this book and the many ways that you can get it. As we wait for Dr. Karim R. Ellis and for many more who will join us as a live, I wish that with this topic reach you in your heart space so you may experience what the true reason why I promote this book and why it can assist you on your journey. Soon he will be joining the live. Hi,
Oh,
good afternoon.
well, good afternoon to you as well. It's a little bit of an odd place and space to come through at 3 o'clock in the daytime, but
I know, I
hey,
know.
we gotta give the people what they need.
Absolutely. The
Yeah,
message is always divine timing.
absolutely. I 100% agree with that. I'm going ahead and tagging a few folks to let them know that we are in the place and space and gonna rock this thing out real quick. And
Yes.
all right, have a little bit of fun here today. I got to be careful because I like technology. Don't get me wrong, but I got to be upfront. Touch screens and me don't get along too good. I touch the wrong screen, and before I know it, I find myself off disappeared into someone else's place and space, and not exactly sure what took place or what transpired. So,
That's
all
funny you
right.
say that because I be trying my best and my heart is not to overdo me and technology and my connection. I'm like, wow. Dr. Kareem, you froze. Please be patient with us as we are dealing with the technical difficulties. For those who do not know, we are in the shadow period of Mercury retrograde. Mercury retrograde will officially take place on December 14th to the 1st of January, which will assist us in elevating our consciousness and helping us navigate this energy towards 2024.
I'm laughing. I just got through saying this. I just got through saying the moment I do a touch screen, something happens. I get taken off of it. So I'm trying to tag and remind people that we are here and going live. But like I said, I'm doing this very delicately because I understand the nature of how this works now. So
Welcome to all who are joining the live. Please be patient with us as we dealing with technical difficulties. For those who just joined, I was speaking on we are in the shadow period of Mercury retrograde. Mercury retrograde does affect technology, communications, and many more things, but it mainly is a season, a period in which you may feel a little sluggish or feel like things are slowed down. It's for your benefit. It is to assist you while you are preparing for your next flow. Mercury retrograde is the energy of slow down, recalibrate before the next flow. So it is a blessing for us
sure.
to have Mercury retrograde. Mercury retrograde goes 3 to 4 times a year, and mainly it be a little intense energy, but it's all for our benefit.
Mm.
So
So
that's for those.
we're gonna come back to that because I gotta ask a few of my own personal questions on that. I gotta be real. Now that you brought that up, I gotta ask a few questions about it, but we're gonna loop back to it. So off the bat, let's be real. We got some folks that I've tagged that was gonna come into this today. That's gonna watch this. They may watch a little bit later. Like I said, 3 o'clock during the daytime. We got some folks at work, so they may not watch it till a little bit later this evening. But some folks are not fully aware of who you are, what it is you do, and what your value is and what you bring to the table. So one of the first things I want to do to start off is I want to ask you to go ahead and introduce yourself. Let us know who Shekinah Keys is. Like, give us a quick 3 to 4 minute bio of who you are, what it is you do. Just a little bit about you so folks get acclimated to you.
I go by Shekinah Keys, your #1 elevated consciousness coach. I am an astrologer. I am a numerologist. I am a life coach that assists people to unlock their true purpose and go back to your original state. What does that mean to go back to your original state? Before you have experienced systematic programming, traumatic programming, things that have been powerless, the feeling of powerless, being in a state of not knowing what to do with yourself. Your soul is asking questions. You're trying to understand your why. Why am I here? What is the purpose? I'm a good person. I've experienced these things in my life. What was all of that? I assist people navigating using the ancient science like numerology, astrology, ancient language. Also, I am a vegan cuisinist. I don't like chef because chef is a little too technical for me. So I am a elevated consciousness coach, which means I help you raise your awareness to all things conscious, to elevate your consciousness of the things that you're doing, your why you're doing it. Mainly, I am also an author today. I am a motivational speaker, being part of the Assassins, the GPS Academy by Dr. Karim R Ellis. I am now a motivational speaker. So yes, my bio is a little lengthy, but when you think of being an infinite being, we're not in any boxes here. So all things consciousness to help you raise your vibration and assist you on your earth walk, your journey.
I love that you say that. And the reason why, because I have a topic that's near and dear to my heart, and I'm trying to navigate this thing without tearing my office space up. But I've said this before, and I'm holding, well, it's dead now because I used it last night, and the screen's a little bit dirty, don't get me wrong. But I'm holding my iPad, right? And I tell people all the time that when I bought this iPad, I knew specifically what I wanted the iPad for. I wanted the iPad for my speaking business. I didn't want to lug around laptops. I didn't want to lug around my MacBook. I thought it'd be the coolest thing in the world to have my little earpiece in and be able to just do my little touch screen. I was trying to be like Tony Stark on stage using technology, right? And when I went to go select this iPad, I had no idea what to buy. Like, I'm inside the store. I got different, options out there, Android technology, iPhone technology, Apple technology. I have no idea. I talked to the clerk. The clerk says, for what you want it for, you want to buy this right here. It has the space on it, has the room on it, which is perfect. But what I realized is when I got it home, I couldn't really access it and use it the way I wanted to, because when I got this iPad, it came on default settings. Meaning that if I want to do video editing on here, if I want to do Prezi, I do a lot of Prezi presentations as opposed to PowerPoint. None of those apps were on here. So that means I had to go out into the app store, figure out specifically what I need, download it, and only in that moment can I use this iPad for its intended purpose, which means I have to start everything with vision. So I say that because one of the things I think when I talk to you, when I've looked over the concepts in the book we're going to talk about today, I believe you are a visionary person of greatness. I think you're a person that lives in the belief system of living your life by design rather than default. And most of us live a default lifestyle. We come onto this planet and we get a lot of beliefs that we kind of adhere to and we attach to. But in order to be super successful, you got to know, number one, where it is you want to get to. And then number two, what is the information? What is the education? What are the coaches, the mentors, all the stuff I need that's going to get me to my fantastic finish line, because I can't get to my finish line by living by default. I got to live by design. And that's one of the reasons why I love your book so much, because your book jumps into the idea of whether you kind of live in a default lifestyle or you live in one that's by design. So I want to talk a little bit about the book real quick. And when I say this, because one of the reasons why we're here today is to discuss the concepts of this book. You decide to name this book From Powerless to Powerful. And I got to tell you something. Being in this industry for 20 years, the name of a thing sets the stage for everything.
Absolutely.
I see, and like if you don't have the right name, right? I think I see people when they give birth to kids and I'm like, what? That kid is never going to live up to that name.
Right.
Give them a name they can live up to. So when I hear the name of the book, Powerless to Powerful, I want to know, why did you name it this? Like, what was going through your mind when you said Powerless to Powerful? What was going through your mind?
What was going through my mind when I named the book From Powerless to Powerful is because I have many, many situations in my life that I felt completely powerless. I felt that everything was happening to me. I wasn't the architect of my life. I wasn't in control. I just felt like everything was, I'm just flowing with the systematic programming, with the lifestyle that was designed by me. Many times I didn't even know that I had the power within me to be the navigator, to be the one, the architect of my life, to design a new blueprint for how my life will go. So From Powerless to Powerful is the mindset of feeling weak, powerless, feeling stuck, stagnant, and not being able to live the life that I believed and knew that I was worthy of and I deserved.
I got you. So I guess another question I have for you is this. Knowing your book, knowing some of the stuff you talk about, and knowing your journey, because we met on Clubhouse for the Monday night motivation where we met at. And so I believe that everything happens intentionally, not accidentally. I think when we move into the ebb and flow of God has divine connections, divine associations. So I don't believe that I come across anyone by accident. Even those that have done me wrong, I still believe, as Scripture says, that which my enemy meant for evil, God meant for my good. So even those that do wrong, they still play a part in pushing you towards your purpose, your calling, and your destiny. I want to ask you very, very briefly, is there like a defining moment that shaped your journey? Like when I look over my life and I look over everything I've been through, and it's been a lot in 20 years, there are certain moments in my life I call definitive moments, right? Which is these certain moments actually shape the character and the mindset of who I am. Do you have like a definitive moment in your journey to kind of set the stage for how we got here to Shekinah Keys?
Yes. The definitive motivation and moment in my life is the death of my matriarch, my father. My father made transition, and I began to question everything in life. Like, what is life without my dad? What is life with everything that he taught me? How do I combine that with my modern day lifestyle? And how am I supposed to navigate this new world without my father in it? And for me, for many that don't know, this is one of the most powerful experiences that you will go over in the book. I lost my passport. I'm an American citizen that was born and raised in the state of Israel, and I lost my passport when I came to deal with my father's remains here in the U.S. And when that happened during the season of COVID, when the technology was off, it was almost like everything was retrograding with the the immigration offices, embassies, the consulate, everything was backed up. So it was a moment of sit still. You ask why? You ask what your life purpose is. You want to know? Sit still. So in that moment, I was powerless. For that moment, I was struck by, oh my God, I have a 5-bedroom penthouse. I have 3 children. I have a job that I participated in as a manager and owned a company. And here I am, 7,000 miles away, trying to figure life out. That was the moment in which I began to go deeper within me.
So let me leap in here real quick, because you said sit still. And I already know where my mind is going on this. I've talked about this on stages for years. But what do you think is the hardest part about sitting still? I'm for what I want to say, but I'm curious to pick your brain on it. What do you think is the hardest part about sitting still?
The hardest part about sitting still is now you have to be centered, and all those memories, all them emotions, all those things that you have suppressed, is going to come up to the surface. And many of us, we do not want to do that. We fear sitting still, sitting in solitude with our thoughts.
Yeah, there's something I firmly believe in, which is you cannot conquer what you refuse to confront. Exactly. And a lot of times, in order for us to go and grow to the next level, we have to face the worst parts of ourselves, our journey, our psyche, more importantly, our character and our character flaws. There was something I talked about a while back where I talked about the 4 stages of transformation. I said you have separation, right? Which is where God pulls you apart from everything that's comfortable to you. I'm talking about the people you're kicking with. Sometimes it's the loss of job. You just wake up one day and all of a sudden you're fired, right? This has been my livelihood. This has been my habit and my pattern, because let's be real. Most of us have lifestyles that are habits. I know I wake up at this time, I'm out the door at this time, I'm in traffic at this time, I'm at work this time, I say hi to this person this time, we go to lunch this time. Like, my life is a habit, right? And the only thing worse than a habit is a forced habit interrupt or a pattern interrupt. So we talk about separation, we talk about isolation, which is where you can't get a hold of nobody. There's no lifelines, you can't phone a friend, you are cut off from the world. And then we enter the stage of transformation, which is where that caterpillar is inside that cocoon, right? And notice the cocoon only fits one person. The caterpillar.
Exactly.
Can't bring your buddies, can't bring your family, can't bring your friends. And so it's typically you and God stuck inside this cocoon. And that's where the mental downloads are taking place. That's where you're being challenged to confront the who you are versus who you are designed and orchestrated to be. And then after that stage comes, after transformation comes elevation. That's when you break out of that cocoon, you have your wings, and now you can soar to heights that you couldn't soar to before that. But I got to agree with you. I think when it comes time to sit your butt down, I think as kids growing up, that's why punishments are so bad. Like, the worst punishment in the world, my mother would strip everything out. Yes. She would take the video games, she would take the comic books, she would take the TV. If I'm in that 90s era. You used to have all your favorite artists on the wall. Your little Word Up magazine. She used to stack. I don't want you looking at Bobby Brown having fun. I don't want you looking at no good. Like, she would take the stuff off the wall. It would be nothing but white wall. And the worst thing in the world is to watch all your friends outside playing and you in the window. They can't do nothing.
Been there.
So for a lot of us, we just don't like that separation. But I think it's necessary, because that's where you get rid of a lot of noise traffic.
It was very important for me, because I was engrossed in every aspect of my life, whether it was family, whether it was managing my account and managing I was a single parent at the time, managing my business, dealing with my clients. Each one, it felt like everybody was so dependent on me, whether it was for advice or whether it was for, I just need a friend. It was always me being available for everyone. So the fact that I got stuck out here 7,000 miles away, first of all, let's start with the fact that I didn't have a phone. You couldn't contact me. You couldn't contact me. We talk about spending, shopping my way out the top, navigating that, accounts closed. As things were, it's like all the walls began to just collide.
Sure.
Everything was, you don't have nothing to focus on but you. Nothing. No, you can't distract yourself with your accounts. You can't distract yourself with your clients. You can't even distract yourself with your children. We need you to sit still. That was very difficult, but I am super grateful for that.
Now, again, I'm gonna ask another question in a second, but I'm always trying to connect the dots. And while I know some people watching right now may say, "Man, I've never been trapped in a country without a passport," because I'm just being real. Like, I use my passport. I travel a lot. I was taught by Les. Like, he got me one time. We was out of the country. He was like, "You bring your passport." Like, I used to leave it in the hotel. He said, you take that with you everywhere you go. You don't leave it in that hotel room. You want to be stuck here? Because he said, "I like you, but I'll leave you here." He said, "I'll get in that plane, and you and the embassy got to figure that out." Right. So the reason why I say that, because there's some people that have never been through something as dramatic or drastic as being stuck out of the country, but we've all been forced to sit still. And for most of us, we'll do everything in our power to dodge sitting still. Because it's in that quiet time where we know we got to focus on the things we need to do. So I love that you have this in the book, because it teaches the value of being okay in the stillness, right?
In the stillness,
So I got to ask this, because this is personal. And when I look over your life and your journey, and this is going to sound kind of crazy, but this is how my mind works. I was watching Forrest Gump the other day. And I'm not calling you Forrest Gump. Don't think I'm
Run,
saying
Forrest.
that. But what I'm saying is, I'm saying that your journey kind of reminds me of Forrest Gump, because Forrest Gump was like, the way they wrote the story, Forrest Gump was in all these pivotal moments in history, right? It's like, he's here. Like, how is this dude all over, which made the story entertaining. So when I look at your journey, your story's like that. It's like this woman who I met on Clubhouse so many years ago, they came onto the platform speaking and talking her mind and speaking her truth, and all this power came out of her voice. As I got to know you, I'm like, okay, you got a little bit of Forrest Gump going on, meaning you've been in all these pivotal places throughout your journey that most people I've never seen that. Like, I've never done that before. The one thing you said to me that really caught me off kilter was you said, man, at one point in time in my life, I was in a cult.
Yes.
Right? And I say that because there's so many negative stereotypes amongst the mythology of cults, because most of us have never been there before. We don't know what it's like to be in a cult. All we hear about is like David Koresh. We hear about the compound. We hear about places being stormed. We hear about, you're never going to take us alive, drink the Kool-Aid. We hear about all that stuff, right? So we hear the negative aspects of it. And lo and behold, we got someone who actually lived in a cult, right, for a seasoned amount of time. And so I want to go there very, very quickly. I think it's powerful because you know my belief in it. My belief is there's many forms of cults.
It's a mindset.
It's a mindset. There are people right now that belong to religious cults and don't realize it. There are people that belong to political cults and they don't realize it. Like, we got to broaden our definition on what a cult is, right? Because a lot of times folks don't see it. But I want to attack it from the aspect of your story and your journey. You talk about how you survived the cult. And so 2 questions. Number one, how did you get pulled in? And more importantly than that, how in the hell did you get out?
First and foremost, I was born and raised in it. And raised in it. It was, I'm going to give you the definition of a cult. A cult is followers or person that follow with a unhealthy devotion to something, an opinion or group or a person. So it doesn't necessarily mean just being stuck in a closed off community, which I was, but it's about the mindset of following something with unhealthy devotion, meaning without using your spiritual intuitive senses, without trusting the fact that this doesn't make sense, and having the ability to speak up or against and be okay. So it is very important to state what is a cult. And for me, yes, I was born and raised in one. It was believed that they were following the ancestors, the ancient forefathers of the Hebraic culture, which it turned into, from following the writings and the ancient laws, to following a person, following a concept, following their dream and their vision. And yes, you did not have a voice to speak against it, because how could you? Because he was God's anointed. How did I get out? Let's first start off with the fact that it was a tug of war. I left at 17, then I got drawn back into it. Then I left again at the age of 27, already a mother of 3 children, because I just, in everything in me, stood against a lot of the concepts, even though it was rooted in truth. But it was the concept and the domination and control that it applied or afflicted me personally, and the way that I saw it harming others. So I definitely worked very hard. This is a sensitive topic. I don't talk about it a lot. I am excited now to officially be in a space where I'm ready to talk about it. But it took me a long time, because it wasn't about just the cult, leaving the cult. It was understanding that you have to find your voice. You have to go and rebuild your identity. You don't know, when you was born and raised to a concept, you don't know different. So everything in your life is walking in that energy, in that pattern. So I had to reboot every aspect of who I am, unlearn what I was taught by them, to relearn what truly is the truth, of that
Yeah.
ancient language, that ancient
Mm-hmm.
science,
Mm.
and the forefathers and that country.
Mm.
Because at first I detached from everything. I was like, I don't want to be part of them
Sure.
or it. But
Mm.
you got to remember, when you leaving a cult like mindset,
Sure.
transforming your mindset,
Mm-hmm.
that means that you have to be okay with leaving the people that's not ready to transform.
Come on now. You know,
And for me, that was
mhm.
family. That was
Well,
family. That was friends.
mhm.
Go ahead.
So let me leap in here real quick because I gotta you. I believe in the concept of deep calls in the deep. You said something deep. I gotta come on. We're playing tennis. I gotta serve something deep back, right? One of my favorite books is Napoleon Hill's Interview with the Devil, and in that concept, you know, he wrestles the devil to a point where the devil is forced to tell the truth. It's almost like Wonder Woman's, you know, magic lasso. If I put it on you, you got to tell the truth. You can't lie. And
Right.
in that concept of that book, he made it clear. He said 90% of what you believe is factual truth is really someone's well-placed opinion that you
Exactly.
receive without doubt because they represented an authority figure in your life. And
Yes.
so what you're letting me know is what I firmly believe in, that the mind, as I said earlier, is fully programmable. It works like a computer program. And so what I'm saying at an early age becomes my truth. And now I start to defend it. I set barriers and boundaries around it. And so I will operate in this truth. It's almost like the dog that has an open yard, right, with no physical fence, but it's got an electric collar. And so after a while, the dog will get shot, the dog gets shot, the dog gets shot. And then eventually the dog doesn't even try to cross that imaginary line because the dog understands if I go past this tree, I get shot. The power in the whole neighborhood can go out. Someone can take down a transformer and the power in the whole city 5 blocks wide and go out. And the dog can roam the streets and do whatever he wants to do, but is unaware of the fact that I can't go past my house line because I still believe mentally if I go past this, I'm exhibit pain. And so what you're telling me, you were ingrained in this at an early age, and so you had to reprogram your own mind, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah. So I like that because most of us are walking around, like I said, in cults of our own formation, and we have no idea we're doing it. We're so hell-bent on believing this is the right way because mama told me that, or dad told me that, or my favorite third grade English teacher told me that, and we run with it, but it's like that's not really the truth. And a lot of times, if you're not operating in truth, you're operating in the opposite, which is false, right? But the problem operating falsity is I'm creating barriers and boundaries that keep me locked in. I can never be 100% of who I'm truly designed to be if I'm operating in the wrong place and space. So that's why I'm so glad you addressed this topic because you don't have to be in the physical cult, right?
No, it's a mindset.
It's mindset. It's all mindset.
It is a mindset. Imagine you grew up in generations of families, your generation, everyone in your family, like let's say I'm the only daughter for 4 generations. My mom was the only daughter, her mother was the only daughter, and her mother's mother was the only daughter. So imagine them telling me this is our way, this is our tradition, this is what we've been grown to believe and to walk into, and I didn't question it. I did what was told to me constantly until one day you wake up and be like, but I don't even want to do this. I don't even like this. Why am I doing this? You know, and mainly a lot of the programs that we find ourselves stagnant in is because it's our loved ones. It is authority figures, but it be mainly your loved ones. It be the ones that you don't want to offend. You don't want to hurt their feelings. You don't want to disrespect them because sometimes even as a young adult, when you come into your own, you feel like it's disrespectful to stand up for yourself. You feel like it's not right, or I will offend my mother and my mother's traditions. But the reality is each and every last one of us is a soul with a purpose. And you have your own innate system that you have to learn how to discover, because the way that your mom made her recipe may not be the products that you want to live according to today. And it's learning how to love your mom, her recipe, and the way that she did it, and create your own. That's what we have to learn how to navigate our own walk, and unlearning absolutes. That's the most important thing. Unlearning absolutes of others, opinions of others, and taking them on and embodying them as your own. That's what I had to reprogram my mindset and ask why. Why am I doing anything? I literally went through every experience. That's what's in the book. I began to ask, why am I experiencing this?
I love it. I love it. So let me switch topics real quick, because I know that
Okay.
these lives only go for so long, and I want to be able to capture everything while we got everybody here to pay attention to it. I know one of the businesses you involve yourself in is you actually prepare meals for certain clients. And I found it very, very interesting. Being a bit of a fitness buff myself, I understand that what you eat has a whole lot of responsibility and what that waistline look like. But we know that eating right carries more weight than just how lean we look, how good we look with clothes on or clothes off. And so one of the questions I got for you, you believe in spiritual cleansing, and that includes foods. How important do you think it is for us to eat the right foods, and more importantly, why?
We are what we eat. Many of us don't want to really internalize that because of the habits and because of the things that we used to. My mama used to always make chitlins on Thanksgiving type of energy. But when you are going through a process of detoxifying mind, body, and soul, eating conscious foods that help vibrate energy, help like alkalinity, and vegan plant-based diet helps you to become lighter, help you to be able to cleanse your thoughts, your mindset. Because when you eating trash or fried foods and things that do not truly promote life, imagine what that's doing to your brain cells. Now, mind you, reprogramming is beyond just unlearning the things that you do and say and how you think. It is also taking a conscious responsibility on what you put, what are you consuming in all aspects of your life. So my platform, I Eat Love, first of all, this meal prep catering service is designed to assist those in conscious eating, eating for your energy, going through different processes of, okay, I need to go on a juice fast for 21 days. Or I need to eat lighter because I'm going through a massive transformation within me, and I want my energy to be as clean and as pure as possible. Remembering this body is the temple. Your body is the temple. So you could treat it like the temple or a graveyard.
Come on now. I've seen some temples that look sexy on the outside, but I'm like, that diet ain't.
You said they ain't drinking water, they ain't eating right.
That diet got you looking like a sewer on the inside. I'm just keeping it a buck. I'm just
real.
I say what people know they need to know.
I
right?
know. It's real. A lot of people, when we go on spiritual retreats and we help even spiritual energy, the importance of fasting. Fasting is not just from eating, it's fasting from what you're consuming. What TV shows are you watching? What movies are you interested in? What things are you putting your energy in? Because you are consuming it. You are reprogramming your mind with the things that you put your energy in. So if you put all your energy in watching TV shows, no offense, I'm gonna plug it, Housewives of Atlanta, bickering and fighting all the time, if that's the energy you are consuming, you're eating fast foods, you're consuming ratchet music, all these things affect your vibrational and energy pool. So if you are really trying to transform your mindset, you want to go through reprogramming, yes, you can sign up and get a hypnosis with me. You can get an energy clearing with me. You can even change your diet. But it's not just me doing it. It comes with a lot of discipline and willpower to truly unlock and transform yourself. One of the things that I did when I was sitting still in my season of solitude, I did various fasts, whether it's various fasts from watching TV, eating lighter food, even by being a plant-based. I am vegan. I was born and raised vegan. That's something that's also in the book. You will understand though how I became vegan and my holistic doctor as a father and all those beautiful experiences. But I also go through reeling back what I eat when I'm going through different levels of reprogramming and transformation. I go into fast. I go into juice fast, water fast. It is letting my body release the things that no longer serve it. Also detoxifying your blood. You have to understand that when you're pulling in energy to transform you, you calling in the higher realm, you praying, you meditating, You have to allow that body, you got to make room for the body to bring forth that energy. So that's why I Eat Love Meal Prep assists my clients, whether if you're a vegan, plant-based bodybuilder or someone who want to lose weight, one who is on keto diet. I have a various amount of menu that I didn't even put all the menu together, which is on the website. It's really tailor-made for the client.
And I love this because I'm a strong believer that if someone says I have a service to offer, before I bite on anything, I want to see if you've been taking your own medication. In other words, if I'm a doctor and I write a prescription, I want to make sure that you are actually taking some of the medication you've given to me. It's almost like I remember going to a bank one time, and I'm not saying this to be shallow, but the guy looked at the bank account and said, man, we got all these different products and services we can invest this money in. We can double your money. We can triple your money. How would you like to be a millionaire in this amount of time frame? And then as I walked out, I noticed the car he was walking to. And I'm like, how you going to try to give me advice on what to do with my money? And blatantly, you ain't been taking your own advice. Like, I want to make sure that you give me advice. Baby, you taking the advice you given, right?
Absolutely.
And so when I look at you, I go, blatantly, you taking your advice because you're the epitome of good health, right? Two things I want to say real quick, and I say this scripturally based. I remember there's a point in time where the disciples were talking to Jesus, and again, I know everyone here has different religious beliefs. We're not trying to baptize anybody, not trying to convert anybody. I'm just using this for an analogy to go with the conversation. They talked about how they couldn't cast a set of demons out, and Jesus said those types of demons can only come out through prayer and fasting, right? And what I learned is there are certain things that I do habitually that I can only get rid of through the fasting process.
Absolutely.
Right? If I have a craving for certain junk food, I got to fast away from it. And so when you talk about fasting, I think it goes deeper than that. You kind of broke it into here a little bit earlier, that you can fast from a lot of things. You can fast from mindset. You can fast from people. Oh my God, I love the idea of fasting from people. I'm Aquarius. We ghost people real quickly. Like if I feel like you about to mess up my mental diet, I may even let you know I'm letting you go. I'm gonna let you go. But the second thing is the transference of energy. Scientists say energy cannot be destroyed, but it can be transferred. And so we got to be careful we hang with, because a lot of times people transfer that negative energy very, very quickly. It's like getting on the phone with somebody and talking to them for 15 minutes and it's all doom and gloom. And then when they hang up, now you feel drained.
Right.
Like they going through hell. Why do I feel drained? Because they done transferred that energy over to you. So I love the concept you're talking about, because again, this book goes so deep and there's so many different applications of how you can take these concepts and revolutionarily use them inside your own mindset, your own lifestyle. I think we're about maybe at the 20-minute mark before our IG gets a little bit buck with us and shuts us down. So I want to kind of move through real fast. I know that you teach different philosophies and principles. Can you give me just the five? I believe you got 5 core principles that you teach. Can you run down those 5? You don't have to go into detail with them because we want people to buy the book. But give us the 5 principles that you have sworn yourself to and that you teach off of.
In this book and in my coaching programs, the 5 principles, first and foremost, is unleashing the power from within you.
Okay.
You have the innate ability to transform your life and become the architect of your life. Also in this book, I use the 3 C's, which will be the remaining of my 3 core principles, is conquer. Conquer your status, your situation, your emotions. But let's start with how the C's are lined up. It is confront. Gain clarity. Gain clarity over what your situation is. How you feel? Are you just following? Are you just going along? Are you existing or are you living? So gain clarity over your situation. By gaining clarity on your situation, it allows you to help confront the situation. Confronting the situation is going deeper into identifying it, analyzing it, and getting the learning, the knowledge from your experience. And then the last C is conquer it. You have the ability to conquer any situation. When you use your energy, your innate power from within you to unlock and decide, I don't want to do this anymore. I want to go, this is not the life. You can start over at any moment. You can use all 5 of these core principles, but mainly my top 3 is clarity,
Mm.
confront, then
Mm.
conquer.
I
And you
love it.
can overcome anything.
Mm. I think my favorite one out of it is the confrontation, because I think so many of us are ingrained to sidestep facing stuff head on, right? And
Mm-hmm.
the only way you grow in this day and age is I said earlier, you cannot conquer what you refuse to confront. So I'm glad that you have these principles, and they're packaged in such a way they're so easy to memorize, they're so easy to apply, but you got to challenge yourself, right?
Yes.
And you got to be in love with the idea of what I call the 2.0 version of yourself. I mean, there's always room for improvement and for growth, but I gotta want to excel and better my best. As my pastor said, good, better, best, never let it rest. Your good becomes your better, and your better becomes your best. And this is all about bettering your best, especially since we're getting ready to go into a new year, a new season. I mean, 2024 is right around the corner, right?
Absolutely.
So this being a book project for you, what was the hardest thing about taking all these concepts and becoming an author with it? Like when I did mine, I know it was like so many concepts. Like, okay, I got to break this down into different books because there's so much to go into it. But what do you feel like for you was the hardest part of being an author and trying to combine all this stuff?
By being a person that had extreme
Mm.
situations, even when you use the character Forrest Gump, that
Mm.
is my life in so many
Wow.
ways. It's like running from one scene to the next,
Mm-hmm.
various experiences from the highs to the lows. It
Mm-hmm.
was very important not to overwhelm the reader. So
Mm.
trying to find the right
Mm-hmm.
stories to
Mm.
give you, to assist you to go deeper within you. And
Mm.
then let's be real, it was
Mm-hmm.
being vulnerable.
Woo,
I
come on.
knew this is not just my story. This
Yeah.
is my shadow side. This
Mm.
is the side that caused me to be aggressive, caused me to
Mm.
live outside of my true essence, which I am. I'm a bubbly, loving, optimistic person, but
Mm-hmm.
that wasn't conveyed in my everyday lifestyle
Mm.
because of the fact that I was too trapped into being a savior for
Yeah.
others, or trying
Mm.
to give my attention to everything to silence my own inner voice.
Oh,
So it
wow.
was very important for me to be vulnerable.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted my readers to have my full authenticity. I
Mm-hmm.
wanted you to read this story, but when you read this story, it's not just feel my heart.
Mm-hmm.
It's also go deeper within your story. Like, wow, she put a
Mm.
name to the feeling that I had. She put a name to the experience that I had. Now I
Mm-hmm.
can go a little deeper and gain the
Mm.
true knowledge and reason why I experienced the things that I experienced. So,
Yeah.
as an author, trying to weave out 20 seasons of 38 years was
Yeah.
not easy.
I believe it. I believe it. Here's a question for you. And
Mhm.
again, I don't want you to go too in detail because we want to
No
make sure
problem.
they get the book, right? But is there
Absolutely.
a chapter inside the book that you fell more in love with than all the other chapters, and why?
Absolutely. The
Mm-hmm.
chapter Awakening. The
Mm.
chapter Awakening gives a deeper insight to what I really experienced when I was stuck here in the
Mm-hmm.
US. How did
Mm-hmm.
I feel?
Mm.
And gave me a clarity of the questions that I've been seeking my entire life. So that chapter, it's a short chapter, but it's very personal to my heart because I
Mm-hmm.
dive into the reasons and how what made me really be motivated to go further.
Mm. What's the most surprising thing you think you learned about yourself as you put this book together? Is there anything that you just never saw before, that when you put the project together, finished it all out, looked at the first printed copy, was there anything that stood out that surprised yourself?
That I had God's favor my entire life,
Mm.
and I did
Nice.
not realize the grace, the unconditional love, and His
Mm.
favor my
Mm.
entire life.
Mm.
Because let me tell you something about being in a traumatic state or
Mm-hmm.
systematic programming. Your views on and your relationship with the creator is based on other people's opinions. So when I wrote this book and I
Mm-hmm.
finally held my book in my hand, it felt like
Mm.
holding my heart in my hand. And it was like, you have always been loved. You have always been
Mm.
favored, and you can do anything. Just keep walking in that energy and proof that God lives. And
Mm.
that is what really touched my soul when I really just held the book And I do just have one thing I wanted to say is that
Mm-hmm.
this book is my story,
Mm.
but it's all our story. Each
I
and every
agree.
last one of us experienced trauma. We've experienced separation anxiety. We have
Mm-hmm.
experienced abandonment. We have experienced PTSD, whether you know you have PTSD or not. Each
Mm-hmm.
and every last one of us on this planet can identify, if not with 5 or 10 of the chapters, you
Mm-hmm.
have many of those chapters that you can identify your story. This is the
Mm-hmm.
story for the ancestors that made transition and never got to tell you what they have experienced. This
Mm-hmm.
is the voice for my father and for many, even those who never escaped the cult. This is
Mm.
my story, but it represents all our story.
I love it. You mentioned something earlier about you looking over the finished work and then understanding with the new mindset of all the things you've been through and how God was carrying you and covering you the whole time. It reminds me of what I learned about Hebrews back in Moses' day, and they hit their walking sticks, and what they would do is they would carve niches in the walking stick. And so every time they would come into an encounter, they felt that it was too deep for them or too large for them, or it was going to actually surmass where they were believing they can go in their own sanctified mindset. They would look at the walking stick and look at the niche, and that niche would remind them of every time they were up against the wall and God stepped in and intervened on their behalf. He did it here, he did it here, he did it here, he did it here. And if God is never changing, right, the same
Right.
God that covered me here is going to cover me here. And I think that all of us have to have that reflective moment. One of the things I talk about every year, as I say, have the autopsy, which means
Yes.
that before you let this year pass, before you walk into 2024, you need to do an autopsy report, right, on this last year to figure out what worked, what didn't work. And before you bury it, put out your mindset, understand what caused the death, because what you don't understand, you'll typically repeat. Right.
Absolutely.
And so I think that that's something that's so deep that needs to take place and transpire. We're getting ready to wind this thing down. So I want to ask just a few more interesting questions I think that is pertinent to not only you, but the book that you're dropping out there, because we want to know about the author of the book, a little bit more about you.
Right.
And then we'll talk about the book and how folks can get access to it and how they can connect with you more importantly. You're a world traveler. You've been a few places, right?
Yes, I have. Yes,
So
I
one of the
have.
questions I ask everybody that's world travelers, how has that affected you as a leader? Because obviously you're a leader in the industry. How does that affect you as a leader? Because I know a lot of people that have not traveled outside the continental United States. And I say, I don't believe you've really seen the world until you leave here. Like, we got it cushy. People complain and gripe. Well, I said I've been to a couple of places. We've done Morocco, done different parts of Africa. I mean, we've done a bunch of places that don't have the wealth that we have here, right?
Right.
And I
Right.
think going to other countries humbled the hell out of me, because I go, oh, wow, I got to stop taking this for granted. But my question for you is this: how do you feel that has transformed or shifted your mindset as a thought champion, as a leader?
As a leader,
Mm-hmm.
being a world traveler, being a person that have gotten to experience the highs
Mm-hmm.
of the highs of the Western world, the modern
Mm.
cities, the
Yeah.
lifestyle, the credit cards, the things that we take for granted,
Mm.
and also traveling and being in the energies of the people, the locals, other third world countries that many consider third world countries. It gave me a roundabout understanding of humanity,
Mm-hmm.
compassion, and that material gain has
Mm.
nothing to do with true unconditional love and joy.
Mm.
Joy is
Yeah.
something that is priceless. That is
Mm-hmm.
something, freedom is something that most can't even experience
Mm.
until you've seen
Mm-hmm.
others, until
Mm.
you've experienced the fact that you really do not live in gratitude.
Mm. Got
So
it.
it changed who I am. And also in the book, I do write I wrote the fact that I was
Mm-hmm.
definitely influenced and
Mm-hmm.
affected by Eastern culture and
Mm-hmm.
Western culture
Mm.
and its programs.
Mm.
But the most important thing is I realized that oppression could be anywhere.
Mm.
I realized that it is up to each individual soul
Mm-hmm.
to work to take accountability for their own
Yeah.
healing
Mm-hmm.
and to live in the present moment. when you think that you don't have anything, that's when you really need to go back, sit in solitude, and go over really what do you have. First of all, the fact that you are breathing, you're alive, and you have the chance to move forward no matter where you feel stuck at. There are people that have less than you materially, and they have found joy in the simplicity of life. That's what traveling around the world gave me.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I think that a lot of times God blesses us with resources. And I've said this to you before. I've said you can't spell the word resource without the word source. Resources can be people, can be education, can be money, can be connections, can be opportunity. And resources come, resources go. But as long as I'm connected to source energy, which is God, He'll always make sure I have all the resources I need for whatever my journey is. More importantly, my divine assignment. He ain't gonna give me an assignment without the resources to pull it off. I don't know who needs to hear this. He's not going to give you a divine assignment without giving you the tools and the resources to pull it off. But I believe that in traveling for me, it made me more responsible with the resources. Once I got, a lot more cultural diversity, I understood the value of why it was so important to make sure my message gets out there, not just on a national scale, but on a global scale. So I had more responsibility with it. So I'm very, very glad you said that. About the book real quick. We're down to the wire, and then I'll ask you one final question. So, number one, how can they connect with you? And then number two, how can they get a copy of the book?
Now I'm happy to present that you can go to Amazon and get an e-copy. You could just pull up From Powerless to Powerful by Power by Israel Keys. For those who do not know me, yes, I have transformed and I go by the name of Shekinah Keys, but we still got some technical difficulties with it called my legal name. So you can go and find the author. Also, you can even Google From Powerless to Powerful and even type in Dr. Karim R Ellis, and that will also pull up the book as an e-copy. Now, if you want a hard copy directly from me, signed and sent to you, you can go to www.shepraisepure.com, my website, and you can purchase a copy. I will sign it with a message for you to help you navigate this journey, and it will be mailed directly to you.
I love it. And for folks that's interested in the meal portion, they say, hey, I caught you earlier talking about, energy and cleansing, the mindset, cleansing the spirit, cleansing the body. If someone's interested in talking with you about how to get meal prep done, I know you offer that service also. How do they connect with you specifically on that?
Well, right here on IG, I do have a link in my bio called I Eat Love. It has my menu and my link. You can also go to that same website, www.shepraisepure.com. I have a dine-in menu also there with the app that you can get started. But first and foremost, you can DM me and ask me anything concerning your diet, your questions about diet, and I can assist you in navigating that.
Okay. So this is my final question before we wrap this thing up and land the plane, right?
Okay.
We are less than 30 days out from 2024. We are knocking at the cusp of a brand new year. My question for you is this: what would be your best advice for someone to succeed in 2024? What's your best advice to succeed in 2024?
First and foremost, I'm going back to my 3 C's.
Come on now.
When you're talking about your vision, what you want to see, not what your current situation is today, but if you have a desire, a vision for a business, an outcome, family, personal growth, use these 3 C's. Gain clarity of where you are in the present moment and what you plan to do. Then confront. Go deeper within you. What do you need to confront to get anything, remove any blockages, whether it's your own mindset, whether you need a mentor. Now, that's something that is very big in this book is I state that that's where the vulnerability came in at, is I came to clear understanding that I needed help. I needed a mentor. So again, you could use these 3 C's, the clarity of where you are in the present moment, confront your situation, go deeper. What are the blockages that's keeping you from going or becoming the things that you need or the resources that you need to build out that vision, and then conquer it. Start working through it. Start working through the list. Whatever, whether you listed, whether you wrote it, whether you recorded it, start going deeper within you to unleash that power that you have, that voice, that story. If you're here to be a healer, then tap in. If you're here to be a motivational speaker, here you go. You got the CEO of GPS My Success. You have so many mentors, life coaches, healers here to help you get to the next level. Don't wait till the New Year resolution, the 31st of December. If you know you feel stuck, stagnant, you need help, this is when you begin to start making the moves so your 2024 vision for your life, for your career, for your own personal growth can be obtained.
I love it. Well said. Listen, I was trying to see if I can cross the T's and dot the I's. I'm looking over the book report. This is an A+. I ain't got nothing I can add to that one, right? Let me put a scratch and sniff sticker on here, 100 A+, and circle it in red. Let you know, good job well done. We're gonna go ahead and land the plane at this point in time because I know they're getting ready to cut us. We started at 3 o'clock, a little bit afterwards. I want to make sure we book in this thing nice and friendly. So, guys, you heard the word. The book is out right now. It's on Amazon.com. Jump off of this live feed. Go over to Amazon. Let's support Miss Keys as she's trying to take this message and make it a global message. I think this is one of the best ways you can set stage for 2024. You know, my firm belief, everything starts with vision. Write the vision and make it plain, which means I need to be super clear about what I want to do. She talked about clarity. She talked about once you get clear about what you want to be able to confront it. And more importantly, confront it, you want to be able to conquer it, because until you conquer the things that slow you down, hold you back, you'll have a repeat of the worst parts of your 2023 calendar year. This is Dr. Karim R Ellis, your #1 breakthrough strategist, here with Shekinah Keys, and we're talking about how she can take you from powerless to powerful. Guys, jump on over there and grab that book. We love you. There's nothing you can do about it. Make sure you connect with her right here on Instagram. She's on Facebook. She's on LinkedIn. She's got a bunch of good stuff in the hardware for you guys, but you got to take that first thing, which is called action. Take steps. Change your future. Change your destiny. I love you. There's nothing you can do about it. We'll see you guys sometime later throughout the week.
Thank you very much. Unleash the power from within you using Shekinah Keys. Be blessed. Thank you.